All right, guys. Meeting's preparing here. We're going to be live here any second. Bring up Facebook.
Oh, I guess I should bring up Facebook too.
There you go. I think we are live. I'm pretty sure. Let me verify that. If anybody's watching, let us know if you can hear, see us.
Oh, I do see us.
Oh, well, there we go. All right, good stuff. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, everybody, welcome to Whiskey Thursday here. Another episode tonight. An awesome episode for so many different reasons. We got an amazing guest tonight, so I hope there's going to be a ton of people tuning in for this. You're not going to want to miss this. It's somebody that we've had on Whiskey Thursday a few times. We've done master classes with. He's built numerous 7- and 8-figure businesses, so we're really excited to finally get Ravi Abuvala back on Whiskey Thursday tonight. So super excited about that. Guys, if you're watching live, make sure to hashtag live. If you're watching the replay, hashtag replay, let us know you're watching here. And also if you're tuning in from Facebook, because apparently now we're throwing episodes up on Facebook. So if you're watching from there, make sure to come tune in.
You mean YouTube?
YouTube? Oh, sorry, YouTube. Yeah.
I'm like, I thought they were always on Facebook.
It's always on Facebook. Sorry, YouTube. If you're tuning in from YouTube, make sure to come back to Facebook. Join us every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern time. And yeah, we're here live, and we always bring on some really cool guests inside the Real Estate Marketing Conversion Mastery Facebook group. And Matt, anything to add to that? Nice T-shirt, by the way. I always like now we're twins, eh?
You guys are something else.
Winning.
Twinning. That's right.
Winning.
That's right. Ravi, welcome to the show again.
Ooh, thank you guys for having me. What's going on, Matt? What's up, Shane? Everybody that's tuning in live or watching the replay, absolute pleasure. Hopefully I'll give you guys some value during this little episode. Funny story. I was like one of your first Whiskey Thursdays, wasn't
Hang on,
I?
I wanted to get there. Okay.
I want to spoil it for people. Yeah.
Before you jump into that, I've actually got a little special treat.
Oh no, are we gonna
yeah.
What I look like then? Now I'm curious. Let's cancel it. Let's cut the feed.
I just got to find us here so that I can bring up. Well, I'm assuming Matt, you probably got up some. The episode here so that we can answer questions and stuff like that. But Ravi, what is up? What is going on? Give it 30-second, like what you've been doing recently. Obviously,
Cool.
Scaling with Secrets is a big thing right now. I see the beautiful sign in the background. I want one for our academy sitting right behind us. Matt needs one because his wall is
Little blank.
Little blank, Matt. Little blank.
I mean, I just didn't want the neighbors thinking I was growing in here,
Yeah.
but I mean, we can change things up.
Matt's investing all of his money in race cars simulators than he is on signs right now. So there we go.
Yeah, we can go that
wow.
route. Like I said, my new neighbors are gonna think I have a grow room in here.
What's going on, everyone? Ravi Abuvala from Scaling with Systems. If you guys don't know me, thank you guys so much for tuning in. He's going to pull something up to show you guys. I think it was almost 2 years ago. I was on a Whiskey Thursday here. That was when I just started launching my advertising agency. About 2 years later, where I'm at right now, I have an advertising agency. We do multiple 7 figures a year. We sell to like Op City, like Trulia, some really, really like lead aggregate on the national level. I don't deal with individual agents anymore. And then I have Scaling with Systems, which we've helped over 1,000 entrepreneurs, and we're pretty much helping people systemize and scale their business using virtual assistants, automation, paid ads, that kind of stuff, taking them to 7 figures. I know we've worked with a lot of the fucking killer guys that you guys have over at Real Estate Marketing and Conversions Academy. I know a lot of people talk really highly of you guys, and they come over and join us at Scaling with Systems. So I think they complement well. But yeah, and I reached out to Shane for the interview because I was like, it'll be nice to do a nice little recap of because we did the Whiskey Thursday, then we did a masterclass, which was epic, and now this is the third like cameo I've had on your guys' stuff, right?
I think
Third or fourth.
Yeah, you've been on quite a few times because I know when we did the masterclass, we made sure to get you on a couple times so that we can talk.
Promote it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So maybe then too. That was a year ago, right? A little over a year ago.
Yep.
Yeah, and the masterclass is actually inside of the academy now, so it's actually part of the program. Yeah,
that was a killer. That was a blast. But I was so much heavier then. I look at photos back then, which I'm sure you might show us here, but I was like so much heavier back then. It's unbelievable. I didn't even realize it until I went to Cabo and I got the photos back from Cabo and I was like, oh my God, what just happened? That's what happens when you're building a business though, and you dedicate all your time to one thing. You just like, that's exactly what happened. I got a little pudgy essentially.
Absolutely. And you know, what's really interesting. So we'll bring up, I want to bring up a short clip from the original, which is really, it's actually, I was just watching.
I feel like I'm at my high school reunion right now.
I was actually watching it a little earlier. Well, if anybody wants to see, if nobody wants to see the clip that I picked out, it's fine. But guys, if you want to see it, let me know. I'll pull it up here. But what's really interesting is and I don't think anybody kind of knows this, and Ravi, you might not even know this either, is that you were episode number 1.
I knew I was something close to that.
Yeah. Yeah, and it wasn't just the 3 of us, right? This was way back when Austin was around, right? So.
Oh my God, I was when Austin was around. Yeah, so Austin's one of my media buyers in Prospect Social.
Oh, is he really? Yeah, that's cool. That's awesome. So it's kind of interesting, and we're talking like almost 2 years ago. And what's really interesting right now is that we've got Franklin now that's working on the team with us, and he's been going through all of our episodes, putting together like a really big list of episodes. I'm like looking at this massive list and it's like Ravi. It's like, you've been on a couple times, right? I
find my way to weasel in all the time. Yeah. Like, hey, you guys need me on there again?
But it's really cool. It's I think it's awesome to know you from like 2-3 years ago, because you and I actually had a chat way back when we started the beta program. I remember you were sitting on a picnic table in Destin, Florida.
Yep.
And we were talking about real estate, and you're doing some cool stuff back then. And just to, see guys like you with the growth and just what you've been able to do. And it's not, throughout like all of us, right, as we're doing all of this and building out these programs and we're working with marketers and agency owners and so on, it's not everybody sticks around and does great things, right? I mean, it's a very, very small percentage of people, and you're that like 1-2%, right? Which is really cool. And you've grown some amazing businesses, and
I think that's correlated. It's ironic, and I really do appreciate you saying that. But just for everyone listening, like, I don't think that it's anything special I did. It was just that I stuck around. Like, I made it past the shiny object stage where I was just like, let me build a real business in here instead of hopping over to e-commerce or to Amazon automation or wherever else it was. It's just like, I think that was honestly one of the reasons why I got to where I am. It's just because I was just like, I've been doing this for a while, and just like eventually you have, the slight edge kicks in.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's part of it, right? Commitment and focus is a big thing too, right? I mean, I don't think you have any sort of special degree in anything.
No, I did the opposite. I dropped out of law school. So I have a not a master's, but a Bachelor of Arts for
Florida
State.
That's exciting.
For political science.
What do you do with that?
I shot my best retargeting video I've ever had to this date is me holding it saying how useless this diploma is. So, I guess that got something. That was worth the $60,000 to go to college.
You got your money's worth.
Yeah, exactly. That piece of paper right there. Yeah.
That's awesome. So Gustavo here says, show us Fat Ravi.
I love this. Well,
I want to pull this up here really quickly.
What's up, Gus?
Let me just share my screen here. There we go. You guys can all see this, right? Okay, so this is our YouTube channel. This is where we're throwing everything up for. So guys, if you haven't gone to the YouTube channel and subscribed yet, make sure to do that. So I'll throw in that little plug there. But basically, you can find all our Whiskey Thursday episodes up on here, or most of them anyways, and all the way down.
Oh my
Number
gosh.
1, right?
588 views. That's one of the most views on there too.
Absolutely, yeah, 588.
Wow.
So thank you for
I see Aaron Harris there too.
Yeah. No, we got a ton of great people.
James McCluster. Yeah, look at these names, man.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It's awesome. It's been awesome. But so
oh my gosh, I can't look at Austin. Austin looks homeless.
So I want to play this little clip here. You guys can hear this, right?
Yeah, turn it up a little bit.
Well, I don't know if I can turn it up.
Oh.
Where is that?
I'm hearing it.
I love what you say here, Ravi.
No one else can hear it.
Oh, you can't hear it?
No.
I could barely hear it. I said
Oh,
I
you can't hear that. Oh, it's too bad. So, okay, well,
They'll have to go watch the YouTube.
you'll have to go watch the YouTube.
Yeah, it's a plug
So
for you.
950, at about 950 or so. How do I make that? I wonder how I can stream the audio from YouTube. But anyways, at 950, Ravi, you go. There's two parts in that Whiskey Thursday, which I always really like, and I've brought up before with other marketers. So the one at 950, if somebody goes and if you guys go watch that, you talk about how if somebody was to give you a job, you just go ahead and do the job, right? So when you went out and started doing real estate marketing, you just started picking up, you got a real estate agent, you picked up a real estate agent and went out and figured it out. And started, figured out how to generate leads, figured out your systems, figured out what you needed to do in order to do that. Really, really, I really like that part of it because there's a lot of people that really get hung up on like, I need all these other things. I need business cards. I need websites. I need this. I need that. And they're all just starting out as agency owners, right?
Yeah.
And they're not focusing on what's really important, which is just go out and get a freaking client.
Yep.
Right? Get a client, get somebody to pay you some money, and then just figure out the details.
I just finally found my business cards when I moved. I was like, oh, they were in that box way over there that I never used because I never left the basement.
Yeah, it's actually kind of wild to me. Can I share my screen and just show something? Because I literally
for sure. Go ahead.
Will you have to enable it on your end?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, hang on a second.
I literally just taught this in my Q&A call right before this and this is where I see a lot of entrepreneurs make this mistake. And I got this from somebody else and I absolutely love it. There we go. And the idea is like, whenever you're starting a business, most entrepreneurs, you have to have an industry or a niche that you choose, right? That's the first thing you need to find. The second thing you essentially need to have is the transformation. So what's the promise you're going to do that for that niche? Based on the niche and the transformation that you're offering, you're going to have a price, right? If you're working in real estate, you can charge $2,000, $3,000 a month because their clients are worth $3,000, $6,000, $9,000, $12,000. If you're working for, someone that sells handbags on the side of the road, you can't necessarily sell something for $2,000, $3,000 a month because they're not going to make that kind of money. And then you have the mechanism. So that's like whatever you're doing to sell that to somebody. So like whether it's Facebook ads or go high level or, a coaching course or whatever it is. And then finally on the bottom of it, you have traffic, which is like Facebook ads, Google ads, sales funnels, podcasts, stuff like that. The issue, this is how you're supposed to build businesses. And this is what I've noticed most people do whenever they're building business. Oh, I know how to run Facebook ads. Like, okay, now I'm going to go up here and try to approach people after I've learned how to do everything perfect and I have the traffic, I have the cards, I paid for someone to give me a testimonial, whatever it is, and I'm gonna go up and try to sell people. And in the beginning, it's just like myself and I'm sure a lot of other people in here, I was like, okay, real estate, the biggest part about this is the transformation needs to be something really painful. So I was like, real estate, they need more leads or they can't pay their bills next month. And I know that they can make at least $3,000 if I close one home from them. So I can charge at least $1,500 a month. And then I did the mechanism after I close somebody. So like, if you're watching this right now, that's where you need to start closing people. Not after you've built out the course, not after you've figured out how to make it all perfect and the onboarding process is awesome and whatever it is, not after you figure out how to drive traffic to it. Like you need to figure it out right here. You sell somebody on, if someone is willing before you can actually figure out how to solve it to pay for a transformation and pay whatever money you want to make, that's a great sign that that's an awesome industry to go into. And so like the reason I bring that up was just because like we just said like imperfect action. I've just been saying like imperfect action, whatever it was. And it wasn't until I kind of mapped it out, like the actual process that people need to go through, that I realized that it's just like any industry and any business that you're in, you just need to identify the niche and the transformation. That's going to determine the price. Then you sell that niche and transformation at that price. And if that works, then you go and do all the hard shit, like trying to figure out Facebook ads, YouTube ads, Google ads, go high level, whatever else it is, or trying to drive traffic to it. So don't do it the opposite way. Do it that way. I literally just finished that 20 minutes before this call. That's why I wanted to show that real quick.
It's awesome. Yeah. Because I just recently had a call with somebody about this too, where they're really trying to perfect the systems, right? Instead of going out there and getting a client, right? So talk to us a little bit about.
Oh, wait. We got to make a small rule here, right? Because I mean, like you said, we need to drink for you.
That is rules.
Oh, that is right. That is right.
He said he wants us to drink. Well, he didn't say. We just offered because we're good people, right? He's like, all I got's water. My bad.
Matt's like, hold on, guys, before
we got this for you. But with that, we need a small caveat. Before you teach something, say, get ready to learn something or something like that. So we're like, wait, that was fast.
I got you. I do. Well, I also didn't want to take up too much time teaching. That wasn't the goal there, but I did want to give that out there. But I do understand.
Good. It's all good.
You understand. And I think it'll be faster the more you drink too. That'll be the thing as well. Things will be more confusing the more that you drink.
Sounds good. We can get there.
Well, so Ravi, tell us a little bit about sort of your first couple clients, right? So again, I just going back to sort of this conversation I had with somebody yesterday, which was, somebody that is really trying to focus on like, okay, well, I need the systems. I need like everything perfect before I can go out and get a client, right? And what you're saying here is that's backwards, right? You need to go out and get a client, do the transformation, and then start figuring out what you need to do to deliver to that client, which is, I think, is something that a lot of us, I know that's exactly what I did. It's like, I had no idea what the hell I was doing. And here I was telling clients, I have a business and this is what, like, I had an idea of what I wanted to sell, right? And then all of a sudden somebody paid me. And then I was like, okay, well, somebody paid me. Now I'm going to go out and figure out what I need to deliver, right? I'm going to figure out my ISA team. I'm going to figure out the CRM system. I'm going to figure out, this part and this part and this part. And then we delivered on it, right? But that comes from like I feel for me anyways, that came from experience, right? I knew I could deliver on anything just simply because of, I had 15 years behind me of figuring out problems and delivering on solutions, and so that was easy for me. But for some people, this may not be that easy to do that, right? I think a lot of people get caught up in that sort of like, I've got to, I need the website, I need the traffic, I need the systems in place, I need to understand how to do Facebook ads, I need to, like, what do I do once I generate a lead and then send, like, what do I do, right? Tell us a little bit about your experience sort of with your first couple clients.
Yeah, that's an awesome point. And I do see that a lot of times, even with my clients as well, or just people that I talk to, right? It's just like, first of all, I think people are afraid. And so that's why they don't go get a client first. And like, what's the scary part about business? Getting rejected and going to clients and getting told no and reaching out to people. So what's the safe part of business? Changing your website, changing your logo, right? Making the system quote unquote perfect, which doesn't really matter if you don't have anybody to go through the system, but that's the safe side of it. And so that's what people do. And I think it really kind of comes down to confidence in yourself, like making a bet on yourself. And I think it comes down to being a smart entrepreneur and then also making it like, so from now on, like, I know neither of you guys I'll never build something before I sell it. I'll never, ever do that. I'll sell it first and always build it. And now I have the confidence to be able to back it up. And you're right. I think some people in the beginning might not have it, but just know that like you just need it because like you just have to do it. Because if you do it the opposite way, then you might end up spending 6 months to a year perfecting something that nobody even wants to buy or that you can't even scale a business on. And that hurts a lot more than trying to sell somebody into something and either A, getting told no, or B, not delivering. And so for me personally, I knew that I was just like, look, because you have two options. Either A, I'll figure it out and it works, or B, I'll give them back their money. And that's why I like service-based businesses because like say for ad spend, you're pretty much just spending time. And when you don't have a lot of money, you usually have a lot of time. If you have a lot of time, you don't have a lot of money. And so like for me, I was like, okay, if worst comes to worst, I'll lose like a few weeks of working with this client. I'll just give them their money back and I'll know that I can't do that. But it might actually work out. And so for me, it was even higher stakes because the first client I got was my mom's best friend who was a real estate agent. And I also charged her $3,000 a month. And I had no idea what I was doing. I'm like, she's like, can you get me? I'm like, yeah. And she's like, all right, here you go. And I remember like the credit card going through and I was like, holy shit, that was absolutely insane. I can't believe that just worked. And I was terrified for sure. And so like, don't everybody here think that I was just like so confident because it's my family friend that talks to my mom all the time. And I was supposed to be a lawyer and I dropped out. So I'm like, if I fail this, I live in a small town in Florida. Shane knows it's called Destin, Florida, very small town. Like everyone here is going to know that I messed up. Everyone's going to know that I dropped out of law school and I'm a failure. Anyway, long story short, came down to kind of just a confidence in myself, just being like, look, if you really write down the worst case scenario, I'm either going to have to give the money back, which they'll be fine with, or I'm going to solve it for them. And then I'm actually going to be helping more people than if I try to keep it to myself. So I took the money. And then the nice thing about YouTube and Facebook and Google is I just pretty much went online and I asked a bunch of people. And I also YouTube how to do it. And then I pieced that all together. And shocker, I was able to deliver it for the real estate agent. And, the first 30 days I didn't deliver on, but the second 30 days she made about $65,000 in commissions, which was just like, That is awesome. And then I leveraged that case study. Now I had confidence and I was able to build myself up to go out and do that to other people. So the question you need to ask yourself is like, you're going to have that first test unit, like case unit economics at some point. Would you rather do it at the very beginning before you've invested a lot of money and a lot of time into it? Or would you rather have it, at the end when you've already invested 6 months, 12 months, thousands of dollars, and you've told everybody that you have this perfect system only to find out that nobody wants to buy it or that it doesn't work?
Nothing like building something nobody wants to buy.
That's the most depressing thing I can think of in this whole world.
I've just put all this time and effort into this product and nobody wants to buy it.
Or it's not the right price point, or they buy it and it doesn't work, right? I'd rather make the iterations earlier than like spend all the time. And sometimes there's some things in life that won't, I would say most things, you have to put stress tests to them. Like I would have never known if the real estate thing worked unless I had actually put a real estate agent through it. Like me just guessing and trying to learn all the best YouTube videos, even buying into a course, I still would have never known if it actually worked until someone actually went through it. And then I was like, okay, this works or that doesn't work. Should I iterate the product or should I do a whole new industry or offer?
Yeah. I mean, it's very similar to what we tell people when they come in and they get the course and they're like, what should I do? I said, go do it. Just go do it. Go run some ads. So you know what you're talking about when you get on the phone, right? So you see what a CPM is other than just in your Facebook blueprint, right? You see what the CPA is. You see what your lead cost is. Like you see all these different things and you see the agent getting the leads and you make sure that the whole thing works. Like you see it, you get a little bit of confidence in yourself. Like I tell them, like when people are like, what do I charge? Well, charge what you're confident in. Because if you're not confident in the price you're asking when you ask it, like they're going to hear that and they're not going to buy it at all.
Yeah, I think the biggest problem I had too is like, you guys should decide on what you're going to charge before you get on the call, because I would be like, mine was at $2,000 a month. And by the time I get to the call, I was so afraid they weren't going to buy. I'd be like, $1,000 a month.
That's $500. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I'll do whatever you got. Especially if they're like,
whatever you got. What do you got in your wallet?
Yes. Like I've been burned before. You're like, oh, okay, that's $250 less. And then, and then you come up, you're like, so I legitimately.
But you know what? Like, there's nothing wrong with that, right?
No. There's
like being flexible in your price, especially at the beginning, right? Like
getting
when
case studies is most important.
Yeah. Like, taking action, getting clients, all of that stuff. That's what's important. When you're trying to grow.
This is way past the beginning. This is like me just being scared on. I would write on a white piece of paper in front of me $2,000, and I would circle it, and I would like just look at it over and over again, like Ravi.
Well, and we're gonna talk about another little clip from your initial episode as well, because it's actually something I bring up in some of my calls with marketers, and it's also something that I've actually done. Not as intense as you did when you first started, but I did. Both Matt and I, pretty much did the same thing. But I'd be really curious from the people that are watching. Here I am waving the pink pen. It's like the only thing I can find to write down here. I keep coming up with questions for you, Ravi. But for people that are watching, I'm kind of curious to know if we have any agency owners that are starting out and have 0 customers right now. And if you don't have any customers right now, just drop a comment, because I think that Ravi here can motivate you to go out and get your first customer, right? Or all of us can, right?
Or yell at you.
Or yell at you, right? And let's just figure out what the hell the problem is, right? Like what's stopping you from getting out there? And getting that customer? Is it that you feel that you don't have the right systems in place? Is it that you feel you don't have the right confidence in place, right? But you're right, Ravi, like all of those things that you went through, and it was the exact same thing. It forces you, that initial customer and that $3,000 you got and the $47,000 that I got from my first customer, like it forces you to figure it out. Like go out and watch YouTube videos, figure out CRM systems, figure out the ad side of it, figure out like how to deliver results, right? Without that, all you're doing is spinning your wheels and you're going back and forth between like, do I have the right thing to do? Did I buy the right course? Am I right watching the right videos? Do I need another course? Right?
Yeah, some people are like courseaholics. It's just like buy a course. And we both of us sell programs, so it's like ironic. It's counterintuitive that I'm like, you might not need another course. But I think we're all pretty honest on this call here. And I'm just like, and we'll even say on the sales calls, like, it's actually a red flag if someone's gone through like 8 or 9 courses by the time they get to us. We're like, look, you have an intrinsic problem that we are most likely not going to be able to solve. I actually like people that have never gone through a program and they come to us because like we're actually going to get you really killer results. But if you've been burned by like 8 to 9 courses, which is, you know, say for being scammed, like a lot of it comes back, at least I think, on the person that's taking the course. You know, I think you can definitely pull a lot of things from a lot of courses out there. I've had some courses that were immense value, some courses that were just a little bit of value, but you know, it's how you kind of make it. And I think a lot of people, the course is the same thing as perfecting the systems or perfecting the website, or what. It's just another thing you can do instead of actually doing the shit that's scary, which is the outbound messaging, which is getting on sales calls, which is getting on qualifying calls, which is asking people to pay you money for something that you might not even know works yet. And it's not the scammy thing to do, because if you guys think about it, Steve Jobs says this as well. It's like everything around you is built by somebody not much smarter than you. So every other thing that you believe in, like their company, my company, their agency, my agency, anybody else, Zillow, they had to sell it before they even knew if it worked or not. And so like and if you can't do that, then you might not be cut out for entrepreneurship. And that's just the truth of the matter. Sometimes you have to literally just look at yourself in the mirror and be like, can I take this heat? And if I can't, then find somebody else that can and get on their ship, which isn't a bad thing to do by any means. But you have to understand that as a CEO, as the entrepreneur, like, you're going to have have a come to Jesus moment, and you're going to literally be like, is this for me? And I'm going to give myself, and that's what I did. I gave myself 30 days.
Did you call that the Jesus moment?
Come to Jesus moment.
Come to Jesus moment.
Yeah. You never heard that?
No.
Oh, my
Really?
God. You've heard that, man, right?
Oh yeah. That's like,
Okay.
like when you have a seller and they're like, we want, $4 million for our house. And you're like, wow, the neighborhood's really going for like that $350,000 range. We're gonna have to have a come to Jesus moment.
Exactly. That's 100. It's just
I've never heard that.
Like, this is it. You're like, this is on the other side. You got to slap someone silly, and that's what a come to Jesus moment is. And I think some people need to look at themselves and be like, because the truth of the matter is, you can only spin your wheels for so long before you run out of money or you run out of time or something like that. So, the motivation that Shane asked me to do is pretty much like, you are eventually going to come to the end of the rope of you procrastinating. And it's either going to be you having to go back to doing whatever you don't want to do, or it's going to be you having to actually try to do this hard thing. And then at least at that point, you'll figured it out, whether it works for you or not. And then you can go from there.
Makes sense.
Awesome. Well, listen, we've got a couple guys here that said that they don't have clients right now. And Ravi, what's the number one? You got a brand new agency owner. Maybe they've been working at this for 3, 4, 5, 6 months, trying to figure out like, okay, their systems, whatever they need to do. What do you tell these people? What's the first thing they should be doing?
So, I mean, kind of like what I just showed a second ago. First thing you do is pretty much like, and the nice thing about advertising agencies or lead generation, if that's the goal, is like you already kind of have a lot of that already figured out for you, right? It's not like you're doing a brand new software in a brand new industry and a brand new offer. You kind of have an idea what works already. So you can go through the NPT or the NTP, which is niche transformation price, like that. Like you already know in real estate, you're going to be charging $1,500 to $3,000 a month. You already know the transformations, you're going to get them 1 to 2 closings a month or booked appointments to the calendar, whatever it is. And you already know you're going to specifically work with just buyers or just sellers or in the real estate niche, whatever it is. So you can fly through that. So at this point, you need to be reaching out. And like, if you look at a spectrum, and Matt, I'm going to be teaching here, just so you know, okay? Just so you're aware. Okay. Perfect.
Thank you for the warning.
You're very welcome. If you look at a spectrum, right? If you're talking to people on a spectrum, like people are buying from you because you have high domain authority, meaning you actually know what you're talking about, and or you have high trust with that person. Okay. When you're going to cold traffic and nobody's ever heard of you before, mostly people are buying because you have high domain authority and they see some trust in there. When you are going and you're starting a business, you don't have a whole lot of domain authority. So you start on the trust side. And what is that for a business owner? That's your friends, that's your family, that's people that you can touch and look and feel and in COVID-19, maybe not touch, but look at and talk to or whatever else it is. So they don't
permission
know.
Before you feel people.
But just
unless you're a fucking creeper.
Yeah,
the thing.
Yeah.
Let me touch you.
Just so people know here, that's how, remember you said my first client. I said my first client was my mom's best friend, and so she trusted my mom, and my mom obviously had trusted me, and so that translated over to her. And so for that reason, I was able to close her without actually really having any proof done yet, without having the actual domain authority. So instead of like I see people that are just starting straight cold outbound, no case studies, no testimonials, no results, whatever it is. And like, look, can you do that? 100%. I see people do it all the time. Is it a lot harder? 100% it's a lot harder. Instead of trying to figure out, I mean, look through your fucking phone contacts. Who do I know that's a business owner that might not know? And especially if you're working in real estate, every fucking person in their mom
Everybody knows
is a real estate agent, right? And they're
Hit
the
up
easiest
Matt.
people to find.
He's a licensed real estate
Call
agent.
Matt. Yeah, there you go. Call Matt. And you can start there. They already trust you, so they're willing to take a risk on you. And then now that you have, hopefully you have the mechanism, it works out, it's a case study, it actually is good. Then you take that over to the other side, the people that don't even know you, and you say, here's a little bit of trust, and here's a little bit of domain authority. Someone's already paid me, it already worked out, and I know exactly what I'm delivering now. And then you just keep on transferring people from the people that trust you to the people that don't trust you. You keep on transferring assets essentially, and eventually you're able to go to totally cold traffic. Like we have like over 300 video testimonials. We're going to totally cold traffic and converting at a relatively high percentage because I'm like, hey, here's all these people that have already trusted us. Here's all the results that they've already had. Where most people, and I was in the beginning, I was afraid to do my close friends and family because I was afraid if I failed, like I said, it would have been an embarrassment to my family and to me. I would have like shun my family or dishonor my family, like they say in the Eastern culture. And so instead of doing that, I was like, I'll just go straight to cold traffic. And in my first 6 months of business, I made $3,000 total. And that was just my girlfriend's dad, who was a plastic surgeon. And so that was still the warm, trustworthy person. But the first real client that I got for the niche that I wanted was real estate. It was my mom's friend. And then I took her case study and I started doing outreach to other people. And that's how I started closing deals.
And you can apply this to anything, right? Like, so, even for real estate agents that are just starting out, I mean, Matt put out that, you put out that epic 7-day challenge for real estate agents, which was exactly the same thing, right? Basically build up a database of all the people that you know that are around you. We put out another 7-day challenge, which was for marketers, which is the exact same thing. Reach out to all the people that you know that are closest to you, your network, right? And let them know that you're starting a business. And I find the real estate industry probably one of the easiest niches out there to be able to do this in, because guess what? Everybody knows a real estate agent.
Yeah, and their contact
every single person
all online too. It's the easiest thing to do in the world. I mean,
it's wild. I think we had somebody in our 7-day challenge that reached out to his mom. And his mom gave him I think it was like something like 16 or 17 real estate agents.
Oh my God.
Like a big long list of agents that they knew, right? But
most people are willing to help you too. I don't mean to interrupt you, but most people are also willing to help you. You think you're gonna fuck stuff up, but most people want to see other people succeed.
Absolutely.
I know the world we live in is like all doom and gloom right now, but generally people are generally good. And so like if someone you know or someone that knows you or loves you has an opportunity to maybe make your life a little bit better or help you out, I'd say unless you have super shitty family members and friends, they're going to most likely give you an olive branch that could seriously help you out.
And so are the people that they're going to recommend.
Exactly.
Right?
They're going to transfer that over to them essentially.
Exactly. Yeah. And you talk about your the real estate agent that you worked with. It was the exact same thing with me, right? Where, I reached out to the broker. Actually, it was the owner of the franchise that I reached out to, who happened to be my wife's trainer when she first got into real estate. And that's who I reached out to. And I said, listen, I'm just getting started with this. I want to learn the industry. Can we have a quick coffee? Right. And that was it. We had a coffee. We actually had lunch together. But that's how I ended up generating most of my first clients, was through, just reaching out to the people that knew me and then leveraging that. Yep. Right. Like once you start getting into, then I started leveraging referrals, and, I started, doing free trials for some of these people. And when I say free trials, it was just like, hey, I think I know how to do this. Let me just try this out a little bit, spend some money here. And I want to learn and get the confidence and the experience. Right. And they just gave me that opportunity to do it. But for anybody that has no clients, this is the number one thing you should be doing. And you should be doing this tomorrow, like today. Right. Well, it's a little late right now. Right. But it's 9 p.m. Eastern, but like this is what you should be starting with. Like, don't go back tomorrow and sit down in front of your computer and try to figure out how to make your website any better than what it is, or try to figure out how to, put, high level together and all the automations you need to run ads. Like tomorrow, start making some phone calls, start sending out some emails to the people that you know, and just go out there and ask, like, hey, listen, I'm starting up this business. You know, do you know anybody that could use my services? Right. And the majority of these people will. And most of them, like you said, Ravi, will go ahead and help you out.
Yeah. And worst comes to worst, they don't. And you're in the exact same situation you're in, except for you can cross that off the list of to-dos.
Yeah, absolutely. So the next thing so there's another clip inside of Whiskey Thursday. I'm not going to show you, or I'm not going to show. But again, you know, if you're just tuning in, Ravi here was actually one of our first guests on
I wish we could hear it.
What is it? What is it with these like semantics or syntax? Because Ravi earlier even said, you know, Steve Jobs says, and I was like, said Steve Jobs.
Oh
said.
my God, Matt. That's what you're bringing to the table over here? You know,
Who
you need
cares?
to go back to drinking, man. You need to go back to drinking, okay?
No, I'm kidding. Oh, man.
So one of the other things that you did that was really, really interesting, and it's funny because I bring this up on calls. It's something that Matt and I did as well. But I always reference specifically your strategy for reaching out to people over Messenger, because I actually think it's pretty funny. And not funny in a bad way, just like, holy shit, like you really put the effort and you know, whenever, like, I remember seeing your interview in Andrew Crosey's group, I think, right, when you talked about your Messenger outreach, but you literally went to your brother's restaurant, and every single day, and you were cutting videos, which is the most amazing thing, right? But this is not a strategy that should be ignored if you're just starting out.
I mean, you can still do it, like, even once you're advanced. I mean, it's not obviously scalable, but you can still do it pretty darn well. I wonder if I still have the video, because I was just creating a video sales letter where I talked about that. But I would literally cut the beginning of a video. Here, let me let's share the screen here. Let me show you guys. This is pretty funny. So this is actually me. I would literally cut out, I don't know if I can play this, but I would cut out the beginning of a video, and I would say, hey, Shane, this is Ravi here. I wanted to show you a little bit about, you know, how I can help you grow your real estate business. I did a full audit of your website, or I'm going to walk you through the exact campaign I'd run. I'll see you on the inside. And then I'll just cut that video out and put like a general video that I do for every single person. That's like, hey, here's how I run it for everybody. And then at the end, be like, so just respond back to this email and we can talk. And I would sit there and do legitimately like 50 of these. Oh, there it is right there. This is me. I would legitimately do like 50 to 80 of these every day before I went to go bust tables at my brother's restaurant. I would do 50 to 80 of these, and then I would send them. I would cut them together, and then I'd send. This is before a VA. I did this manually, and I'd send them out to people. So is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was talking about. How many times have you worn that shirt?
I don't know what that. I literally was just thinking, like, man, that's a good looking shirt. I wonder where that shirt went. But I would just keep it in my car, hanging up, and then I would just literally, because I was busting tables, so I just wore like a black T-shirt. So I would just like keep it in my car, hanging up. I'd go there first thing in the morning, 5 a.m., and I'd just shoot out like 50 to 80 of those, and then I would edit them. I mean, it was like an 8-hour thing, and then I would have to start working lunch or dinner for that day.
That's awesome. Talk about commitment, right?
Yeah, that is awesome. Yeah. I mean, I've seen like the difference too. Like when you get a video of somebody actually saying your name, you're like, all right, I at least got to respond.
I'll give this a few minutes of my time.
Yeah. I had somebody the other day, like they messaged me, no name, no, and I'm like, okay, this is copy and paste, like delete, gone, remove friend. Yeah.
I had one of my clients just show me his, he's like, my messaging is not working. He just joined Scaling with Systems. He's like, my messaging is not working. It was like, my sales guys aren't getting deals from this. Can you tell me if this messaging is good? Open it up. He hadn't even started the course yet. He opened it. I opened it up. The first line is, hey, doctor, comma. And I was like, well, there you go. I'm going to tell you right now. No fucking doctor is going to read past, hey, doctor. Like you can't go doctor. You concur? You could go one step further and get the name of the doctor or I'm like, that's why you don't have any responses, man. So yeah, if like, I'm doing this a lot, but if you had like, if outbound messaging was on a spectrum, this is super personalized. This is not personalized at all. You have to like find the thing on here that both can send a lot of messages, but also is personalized enough that people resonate with. And so that end, what I sent, that was as personalized as it absolutely gets. So I couldn't send a lot of messages, but I didn't have a lot of money. So I had a lot of time. So that's what I was doing in the beginning. But then once I started learning that, then I would just like, I removed the videos and I just did more case studies and assets. And then I was able to kind of scale that up there.
Yeah, it's interesting. You know, it's funny when you say the message. I was just looking at my messenger the other day, and it just in my requests, the first, like literally the first 3 messages that were my requests, somebody must have taught something because they're all identical, like just different people, right? But the actual, like it was like, hey Shane, and then like the pitch, and then the next person after that was like, hey Shane, and then the pitch, and then the next person is like, hey Shane, and these all 3 of them were identical pitches.
Maybe they're a scaling with systems client. Who knows?
Oh, maybe, right? Is it possible?
Oh,
I would assume you teach them to like personalize it a little bit.
I do. But I said, everyone go after Shane Hillier. That's what I said.
Thanks,
This guy has a lot of money.
Yeah, appreciate that. Appreciate it. All right. Hey, listen, we got a couple of questions. Actually, there's a really good question that came up here from, let me just go back here a little bit.
Oh, wow. We have 40 people live on this right now.
Yeah.
I just feel like it's just us right now.
If you guys are live, hashtag live in the comments down below. If you're watching the replay, hashtag replay in the comments down below. And if you're on YouTube.
Wait, Matt, if you hit turn off video, Matt, what shows up there?
If I hit
photo?
turn off,
Is it the same
I'm
photo?
gonna find out how our Zoom subscription works.
I bet you it's Shane. That's who's on that one. Let's see. Oh, they're both Matt.
That's what I mean.
Wait, Shane, now you turn your video off, Shane, and then I'll just have both
Nobody
Matt's
can see it, but yeah, nobody can see it but you.
Oh, that's right. Nobody can see it from me. Oh, that's right. Never mind.
That's the best part.
They're all the same photo of Matt is what's going on here, just so everybody here knows.
Guess that's the secret's out. That's how our Zoom account works.
Oh,
But we
like
got
it.
see our Zoom, like I hope they're not listening. But anyways, our Zoom account, something got screwed up and has given us like full access for basic price.
Oh,
It's
wow.
not adjusted anything ever since.
I pay a lot of money to Zoom. I would love to figure out how you guys did that. That would be
I know,
awesome.
right?
We'd love to figure it out too, so we can replicate it.
I just know
Don't
it's one of those
break anything.
don't touch it. Don't touch it.
I've done that before.
Oh man. All right, we got a bunch of lives. We got some questions coming in. We got all sorts of stuff. I hope my sound's okay. Like these floors, I got to get carpet down or something so it's a little bit easier to.
You're good.
Not so
good,
echoey. Sounds like I'm in.
You're good. You're in a brand new house. No
Yeah,
problem.
other than the whole syntax comment or whatever.
No, that's
That
fair.
really sucked,
It's
Matt.
fair. What? Sorry, too soon? Anyway.
Well, so there's a really good question here from Mimi that came up. So she asked specifically. I'm gonna stop you before you can answer, Ravi. But her question is, how do you scale from 5 figures to 6 figures? And then summary, right? But let's talk a little bit about the transition between, because you don't run a business the exact same way from 0 to 10,000 a month, then from 10 to 100 or 10 to 50 or whatever that is, then 100 to 7 figures, then 7 figures to 8 figures, right? Or whatever, obviously there are certain things that you need to do in order to go from one and scale up to the next, right? And I remember this from a long time ago because we went from 0 to 7 figures very, very quickly in one of the companies that we had way back when. But we were struggling to get from like that 2.5 million to 5 million, right? We're really, really struggling to get to that point. I know now what the problem was, and this was way back when I was 23 years old, right? But let's talk a little bit about what it takes to go from 0 to 10K, then from 10K to sort of that next level, right? I'm using 10K because that's what everybody uses. Who knows what, I think that number is really a personal number, right? As opposed to what the industry standard is, right? And then what's the next level after that? What do you need to do in order to get to that level? And what's the next level after that? And are there levels, right? Like, are there specific levels, and can you only do certain things because you're not necessarily experienced enough or you don't have the right people around you? What does that all look like?
Yeah, I've had this conversation a few times, and like I won't do necessarily the personal side of it because I also think there's the person that's making $5,000 a month is 100% different than the person that's making $30,000 a month. Like, what you eat, how you treat your body, how you like treat other people, how your sleeping schedule. I think that's totally different in my opinion. At least for me, it is, and a lot of other people I know. But as far as the business side is concerned, for me, and I'll just use 10K too, because in this industry, that's just like the number. I don't know who came up with the original 10K thing, but apparently that's like the big deal. But so for the first 10K, to me, it's all about product market fit at that point. You're just trying to say like, okay, do people want to buy what I'm selling? Is it scalable? Meaning like, can I find these people relatively easily? And am I getting results from these people? Like, are people actually getting, is my mechanism, Facebook ads, YouTube ads, Google ads, selling a home, buying a home, is it working? And is it working that I like it? Is it doing something that I actually enjoy? And that's like the 0 to 10K, 0 to 15K a month mark. And it's kind of just like hustle, grind, essentially, like 10, 12-hour days, whatever it is, working in the business and on the business at the same time. And then like kind of Shane said a second ago, I think like the 15 to 100, which is a really wide window, but it is relatively the same. This is when you start to build out like a little bit more systems in place. And that's when you start figuring out a little bit more paid traffic. And that's when you start to figure out, is my offer actually as scalable as I thought it was, right? If you were doing in the beginning custom work for people, you can do that up to $10,000, $15,000 a month, but you can't do that very, very high unless you have 10, 20 person team doing custom work on the bottom. So is my offer scalable at this point? Is my industry scalable at this point? This is when you start pushing the boundary. This is when you're mostly doing sales calls. Your back end offer should be kind of dialed in. You're mostly doing sales calls and you're focused on marketing at this point and just like, okay, how does everything work? Like, am I waking up with a full calendar every single day? Am I pretty much going to sleep, losing my voice from sales calls all day? Those are all good signs, right? And then in my opinion, once you get to like the 100K to the, million a month mark, which is where we're on the route to right now, then it becomes operations. Right now, it's like, okay, do I have the right people in the right places? Are the people doing the right roles in the right places at this point right now? Like, should this person be doing this? Should this person even be in this company? And then like measuring there, you're almost a manager at that point. It's going from like, 7 figures to multi 7 figures. And then I think on the other end of 8 figures is even more operations. But I think between 7 and 8 figures, this is from a gentleman that I know that did this. He just said everything breaks and you kind of got to rebuild it over again when you go from 7 to 8 figures. But most people on this call should just be concerned with going from 0 to 5, 5 to 6, 6 to 7, which I kind of just laid out there for you. But in the beginning, it's just like, do people want to buy what I have to sell? Then it's like, let's put the pedal to the metal and prove that this market works and that people want to buy this and I can scale this and I can remove myself from it. And then after that, it's like, do I have the right people in the place so that I can focus on the top end of the company, which is still marketing, podcasts, making sure product and development is going well, steering the direction of the company. And it's not really that sexy of a role. Like I don't really have that sexy of a role in my company, but it's super, super necessary.
Cool answer.
For people that are, let's say 5 to 6 figures, right? They're on that. And let's talk annually, right? For those people, at what point do you say, all right, get out of go hire this person versus you need to get your ass up and do some work?
Yeah, that's an awesome question.
I think there's a lot of people coming in right now, like they've heard these things about how they need VAs and they need everything. And like, they haven't done any of the work yet.
Yeah. I think that hiring someone before you have that don't hire someone if you're still under 10K or you don't have a product market fit. Like if you don't have at least one case study or testimonial, a VA is not going to help you. Like they're not going to magically give you a case study or testimonial. You need to know the same reason why I talk about sales is like one of the last things you delegate. You need to know what is the fucking temperature of the market right now? What's the is your messaging resonating with them? Like, does it make sense to them? Are they trying to buy? What are the questions they have on the sales call? Are you able to add whatever their objections are to your product so you can sell at a higher rate or at a higher price? Like, you don't get that if you're just like straight from the beginning, oh, I have a sales team, I have a VA doing it. You're just like so far removed, and then nobody wants to bring you bad news because you're the CEO. They don't want to get fired. So then it's just like the widening gap in your company, and then you kind of get fucked all of a sudden. But in my opinion, hustle and grind you by yourself because you make more money. You don't have to pay anything in the beginning until you get to like $10,000, a little bit more than that, and you have a product market fit. Then I look for a VA to do one of two things. One is back-end fulfillment, if that's possible. So actually running the ads, setting up the campaign, doing all that stuff, right? And the second thing is lead generation. So cold email, cold Facebook, cold Instagram, cold LinkedIn, whatever else it is. And so at this point, I'm just in the middle doing sales calls because I'm the only one that can sell my business the best. And I'm also on top making sure the lead generation is going okay and the fulfillment's going okay. And then finally, once I'm probably at like, I didn't hire my first salesperson until I was doing $50,000 a month. So when I'm like blue in the face, talking until 9 o'clock at night, I've covered all the time zones, I don't have any more voice left. Then I'm like, all right, now I need to hire a salesperson and I can start removing myself a little bit more. Then you have a salesperson and now you should have 1 to maybe 3 employees, not including yourself, pretty much managing your business. And I honestly think I took scaling with systems to 7 figures with 3 employees. So I totally think that you can do that. And I think that a lot of times people hire, even if it's a VA, way too early. And they don't realize that even if it's not the payroll, just the complexity of having additional employees is enough to make you should want to stop and just be like, do I need to hire here? Or can I just do this myself or eliminate it in the first place?
And I think we're seeing a lot of this, right? Throughout sort of the agency industry, where it's like hire VAs, hire a white label provider, you know, like really start removing yourself from your business, right? Like, I mean, is this the right thing to do for a business owner, an agency owner that's trying to get into the space?
No, I mean, just do like, no, it's not. So long answer short, like you can get there. Before I launched Scaling with Systems, I really was running a 7-figure company working 4 to 6 hours a week. Like that wasn't a marketing scam. I was living in Colombia. I was living in Spain. Like I only launched another company because I'm a sicko and I like, you know, I just like working, but I had it productized at that point. But the first year, Shane just showed the video. I was chubby as hell because I was working like 12 to 14-hour days. I was eating the Chinese to-go food underneath my office, and like I wasn't working out anymore because I was just building my business to the point that I could remove myself from it. But hiring people before you're ready for it is, number one, a disservice to those people because you're not going to make it, or you're going to be upset at them that they're not doing things you want them to do, even though you haven't done them. And number two, it's a disservice to yourself and your company because you're going to pretty much be delegating shit you don't know what they're supposed to be doing or not be doing. And you're not really going to be learning the vibe of the market, the messaging in the market, the fulfillment of the market. And just trying to have someone else do that for you way too early is a total recipe for disaster. Like at Scaling with Systems, we actually don't take beginners. Like you have to be doing you have to have at least one product, you have to have at least one case study for us to take you on. We're not taking on people that are at 0 pretty much.
Right, we can't even join.
Yeah. So it's super elite. No, you have to have a case study. You have to have something. I mean, we obviously have let people in the beginning, but there has to be the right mindset because like you just said, if they come in just wanting to hire a VA and having all their problems solved, that is not the kind of person we want to come into our company.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Awesome. Yash here asks, what's your cold outreach method?
We use mostly right now, it's LinkedIn and email. It's kind of the 2 main ones. LinkedIn's really, really strong if you know how to do it correctly, either using automation or VA. But yeah, LinkedIn or email, driving them to some kind of training or driving them straight to your calendar.
Awesome. Yeah. So Brett here says, my first client was a coach, Joshua Smith, and I worked for 3 months for free for him. So again, going back to, dialing in or diving into your own network, right, of people that you know. We were talking about this a little bit earlier. Isaac here says, how important is the follow-up for leads compared to the ad itself?
Itself?
I'm not sure what that, or itself, sorry.
How much is the follow-up?
Yeah, and I think this kind of was answered here by somebody else inside the comments here. But yeah, I think follow-up is everything, whether it's lead generation and follow-ups with lead generation or trying to grow business with the clients, right?
Yeah.
Follow-up's a big part of the business.
Yeah, but it also you need to realize there is as far as your time follow-up, we're talking about time, I'm not going to continuously call a lead every day for a year or 6 months, right? If I'm my active follow-up is only going to be 6 to 7 days after the last touch point. If I'm by myself or if I have 1 employee, if you have 20 sales guys, you can hit someone till they die. But only 1 to 3% of the market is going to be ready to buy whatever your offer is at that one point. So don't be so focused on the 97% that you're missing out on the 1 to 3% that's ready to go right now.
Makes sense.
Cool. Gus here is asking, Ravi, so if you have clients, you are not starting from 0. How do you scale from 7 to 8 figures?
Awesome question. So first thing you do is go to www.scalingwithsystems.com. You're going to apply to book a time. No. So going from 7 to 8 figures is a blast. I'm doing it myself right now. It's definitely difficult. At that point, the few things you want to be having are a lot of what's known as status delta. So credibility, social proof to cut through the marketplace even more and just capture market share. So, like I said, we have over 300 video testimonials. I've had Kevin Harrington as a client of mine on Shark Tank. We've been featured in some really, really big publications and some big podcasts as well. And so that's like already established us above everybody else. Like when you're at that level, you need to let all the people at 6 figures fight it out with each other and just like battle for like the scraps. And you need to be going after the bigger deals or putting yourself above that. And then in my opinion, I really think it's like paid ads is going to be one of the quickest way that you go from 7 to 8 figures, and simplification. So when you get to definitely from 6 to 7 and sure yourself from 7 to 8, I should do a new offer. I should work in this new industry. I should have this new, software. I need to hire this new employee. And all these, we call it complexity creep in our company. All these things just start coming up and and they just start, you should do this, you should do this. And the really most successful people in the world, Jeff Bezos, Warren Buffett, Sam Walton, I've read all their biographies or autobiographies. And the secret is actually pushing against all that complexity and just staying on path. Shane had said in the beginning of this, the small percentage of people that have made it from where I was in the beginning to here. And I said, it was just because I just stayed doing the exact same thing for over 2.5 years now. And so at 7 to 8, it comes, I think it's more turning down opportunities and saying no to a bunch of stuff and staying hyper-focused. Before this call, Matt was like, what are you doing? I'm like, honestly, just a whole lot of scaling with systems. That's all my life is right now, right? I have people offering me stock in company, profit shares in company, and I'm just like, no, I want to focus on everything. So in one word, I would say simplicity is from 7 to 8 and Facebook ads.
It's funny how much saying no can actually make you.
Yeah. 100%.
I'll be right back, guys.
Go ahead. Yeah. Saying no is I actually just did a YouTube video on that 2 weeks ago about the power of saying no.
Well, so I think of a company like Gus's company. You know who Gus is, right? Obviously, with Power.
Gus is in my high level stuff. That's why he came.
Oh, is he? Okay.
He just posted in my high level mastermind. I said, Ravi's in here. He posted in my high level mastermind.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. How important is it, if you're looking to get from 7 to 8 figures or any level, really, how important is it to really start working your offers and
creating new offers?
Yeah. Are your offers a critical component from scaling from one level to the next?
That's a good question. I think it depends. If you start in an industry that is relatively small in the beginning, then you might need to adapt and create multiple offers in that, right? If your industry is 100,000 people in the world, then you're going to have additional offers in order to sell to people that have different problems. But if is like real estate, where your industry is 2 million people in the United States alone, then I think that I know because I know people have done it. You can go to 8 figures with one industry, gyms, real estate, home buyers, whatever it is. And I think offers can kind of add a lot of confusion and complexity to the mix where it's not required. That being said, the nice thing about offers is it gives a nice little lift, a nice little boost. It's all of a sudden they have this new shiny thing over here. But I would argue that the time and energy you're spending doing that, you could just put into the original offer and make that better and bring more traffic to that. But at some point, yes, you will need to have especially if you're trying to sell one main thing and people keep on saying they want this other thing while you're on those calls. Well, if it's still in your flywheel of competence, you can create a downsell or a cross sell or whatever else it is and get them into that as well.
Yeah. And I think maybe part of it too is constantly, maybe not necessarily changing your core offer but more just refining it.
Yeah. Right? That goes over time, right? If you're hearing that people are saying they want something on there over and over again, and you can just add it into what you're packaging, then just do that. That's just updating your offer. I don't want to say that's changing your offer.
Right. Oh, that's awesome. Ravi, it's been great. I'm trying to go through a bunch of these questions here. There's just
I have to go. My gym closes down here in a little bit, so I have to go.
Okay.
Here in a second,
oops, there goes my camera. Sorry.
I got two. Now I got 2 mats on my screen.
Sorry about that. Every time I put my phone down, it kills my camera. So let's how much time we got here? 9:30. We good?
15 yeah, that works. 15 more minutes.
Yeah. Okay, guys. If you, we got 40 people watching, man. This is crazy. People loving you, Ravi. People loving you. People remember
They do remember
Ravi's the guy. Ravi's the guy. And guys, I urge you to go watch Ravi's first episode from Whiskey Thursday because it was really good. Like if you're just starting out as an agency owner, he goes through like a lot of the things that he ended up having to do. You can go.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. It's like a time capsule to see where I was like right when I started out.
It is really cool. It's really cool. And I ended up watching like a good portion of it today. I wanted to pick out some clips out of it.
I know. I wish I could hear it. We'll have to stay on a second afterwards. I want to hear what those are.
So Joe here says, what are the most common mistakes you see from your scaling with systems clients? And what is the most common strategy you suggest to make the biggest impact for them?
So the most common mistake is going to be one of two things. Number one is focusing, like what we said at the whole beginning of this, focusing on the wrong stuff in the very beginning, right? Caring about the mechanism, trying to figure out outbound messaging and all that stuff. And they don't even know who they're working with yet. They don't even know their niche. They don't even know the transformation. They don't know their offer. And they're not willing to put in the work to figure that out. So like the whole first part of our program is like talking about product market fit and making sure that makes sense. So that's the first mistake I see is like going to market too soon without actually having any idea, not about how to deliver, but about what you should price it at or what the pain points are, or any of that stuff, right? I'm not saying you have to know Facebook ads, but I'm saying you have to know that market wants Facebook ads to begin with, right? I saw a guy in the ClickFunnels group the other day post about how he was launching this. He wants to be a millionaire, launching this new thing that you put in the dryer that softens the noise of the shoes going around and around. And I'm like, I don't know how big that need is. And, you talk about need and urgency. I don't know how big that need are. No offense to him if you're watching this video. But I'm just saying that, like, so making sure you have something really needed at the right price point in the right industry, like that's the first thing that I see people that I'd recommend them do. And so you
gotta admit, Ravi, shit like that sells. Like
garbage
stuff.
It does. Shit like that
like
sells.
Stuff that people don't actually necessally need does sell, right?
But if you talk about margins and you talk about numbers,
ShamWow. Like who needed ShamWow?
But also you have to keep in mind that we're in a recession right now. So that might have worked in the past 10 years when the fucking economy is going like this. People are not going to be buying as much stupid shit as they are now. But yeah, you're not wrong. I mean, yeah, the ShamWow guy obviously crushed it. But yeah, so the thing that I noticed first is they don't have that set in place. And then this thing I usually have them do is kind of either write a product market fit thesis out or actually go and call whoever they think they want to work with and do just an interview and actually figure out what is your pain point? What do you want? What problems do you need solved yesterday? How much are you willing to pay for it? And doing that with 5 to 10 people and actually getting some real concrete answers. And then those are the first 5 to 10 people you reach out whenever you actually have your product market fit and you say, hey, you said you'd be willing to pay $2,000 to solve this problem. I know how to solve it. Is that going to be American Express or Visa? And you might get some people that bite.
Very cool.
You might get some people that bite. So there's still risk.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, I mean, what do you want me to do? A money back guarantee that people are going to buy your shit?
Well, that's what I'm saying. There's still risk. People want something guaranteed or, so stupid it can't fail.
You want guarantee, go work at McDonald's, right?
There you go.
No, it's like that's what you want to guarantee. Go work at McDonald's, man.
Yeah.
Get a job at Walmart. That's gonna guarantee paycheck, right?
I don't even know if that's gonna guarantee a paycheck
nowadays.
Yeah, who knows?
Awesome, guys. We got a bunch of people here watching. Gio's here, Joe's here, Franklin's here, Christian's here. What's going on? Meeby's still watching.
Michael Dallas Peterson.
What is up? What is up? Alan, let's see here. Matt Young is watching. What's going on?
Aaron said, what's the best way to go from hundreds clients to dozen and still do 7 figures? Make the dozen all have $100,000 a month plus retainers with you. That's how you do that. Yeah.
Is that a better fit? Is that a better
for me and where I'm at? So I was telling Matt before this. Yeah. I was telling Matt before this as well. Like it has pros and cons, right? So you're still doing 7 figures, but my profit margin is not anywhere near where it would be if it was doing the individual agent, right? I'm a much larger volume for one person. It's obviously a lot lower profit margin. So my take home is not nearly as big, but
there's risk with that too, because
because one client goes
take off for a second. They don't have them going into their system and they don't tell you.
I lost 40 grand in April this year. I lost 40 grand in April this year for that exact reason. And another 15 last month. Austin, if you're watching this right now, I lost another 15 last month because the exact thing that Matt just said happened. It was literally the Zap wasn't working. It wasn't posting to their CRM. And we just lost, and it was $160 a lead, and we just lost. Oh my God, it was absolutely terrible. So huge risk. You have to have capital involved, and they can leave, and then all of a sudden you lose like $110,000 a month if they decide to leave, which I've had that happen to me as well.
And a lot of those companies want you to pay for your leads up front, like pay for a trial of sorts to test your quality, and they want you to cover it.
Which is also why I did why I think people should do done for you and the like individual sense first and build capital and build testimonials. And then that's how I opened up the door to what I'm doing now. And I didn't have to do that because I was like, look, I've already done this with 300 plus real estate agents. Like either you take it or you don't. And majority of people will take it. And, they do a trial, but it's just like they're buying 10 leads at once versus 1,000. Yeah. And then once I prove themselves, we scale it up from there.
So I'm really curious to know, how did you, and I go back to this, there was a post recently in one of our groups where I don't know if it was a post or if it was a message. Anyways, it was just about a client that was unhappy, and it was just like, okay, well, should we refund the money or not or whatever, right? How are you handling unhappy customers?
Give him a second. He's flexing.
I have not moved from this chair in almost 12 hours now, so I'm just like losing my mind a little bit. How do I handle unhappy customers? Great question. And a little scary question that you have to deal with. First of all, if you never have any unhappy customers, you don't have enough customers. Okay. I'll tell you that right now. Like everyone's like, oh, I've never had a complaint. And I'm like, well, you probably only had like 10 customers before. Cause Charlie Munger says, if a cop follows you for 600 miles, you're going to get a speeding ticket. Right. So eventually something's going to happen if you do that, something long enough. Mm-hmm. And so, are you laughing? Did I make something wrong grammatically?
No, I'm just saying, if they follow you for 600 miles enough, they're not creative because there are so many other things they can get you for.
That is true. That is true.
You got the least creative guy on the planet. I'm waiting until he goes a mile over. Anyway.
Yeah. So for us, whenever it comes to refunds, the first thing we do is pretty much reach out and establish contact with the client and just say like, hey, that's the nice thing about our CRM and our systems. We have every piece of communication, every sales call, everything all recorded. And so we'll pretty much be like, hey, you came into this, whatever it was, this company, this program, whatever it is, looking for this one thing. Obviously, we have not delivered that for you. Will you essentially allow us to deliver this one thing for you? And you like 7 times out of 10, they'll be like, yes, I do want this one thing. And then we have to go above and beyond, one-on-one time with me or whatever else it has to be in order to deliver that for those people. Now, that being said, the other thing about that is just like real estate agents or marketers or whatever program, if someone asks for a refund and then I look and see that they've never called a lead, or I look and see they haven't even consumed 1 minute of the coursework, I'm like, okay, well, of course it didn't work. You didn't do anything. Like I can't do everything for you. And so then I've also like come to the point now where we stand our ground. Like before it was like, oh, I'm so scared. But now that we've had such an incredible success rate, I'm like, look, this obviously works. And like, I'm willing to
you can prove that, right? Like now you can prove, like,
yeah, exactly.
Like you said, right? Like if you didn't watch any of the coursework, well, fuck, I'm not getting my fucking money back.
Yeah. You haven't done anything.
You haven't showed up to a coaching call. You didn't call any of your leads. But when we're talking about clients where like you just mentioned, we lost $40,000, another $15,000 with another client, right? Or we didn't deliver on the expectations that client actually had. How, like, what should we be doing as business owners?
You should be minimizing risk, minimizing cash loss. So, don't do a refund, try to do another month for free, or if you have to do a refund, do a 50% refund. Like number one thing I'll tell you guys that you should take in this video is that number one reason why businesses fail is because of cash loss. So I'm not saying be a like cheapo scumbag, but I'm saying that every once in a while you just give this person back their money, whatever it is, then you're going to suddenly realize you don't have a business anymore. And on top of that, if it is something recurring and consistent, then it signifies a much bigger problem with your industry, your offer, or your mechanism that you need to work on. So whether it's the something that's happened on the sales call, we are promising something that are not delivering, or it's something that's happening on the back end that's not triggering, that should be triggering, or it could be something that the client's not doing as well. You need to identify that, and you either need to solve that problem or you need to eliminate that whole essentially situation completely. So, if you have a client that's complaining, take it as an opportunity to really learn, hop on a call with someone. The best testimonials I have are from people that had issues in the beginning. I hopped in, solved it, And then they sent me a killer testimonial because I hopped in and solved it personally. So minimize cash loss, minimize reputation risk, try to solve that problem, and then see if it's underlying a more major issue in your service delivery or promise transformation to your clients.
Yeah. Yep. And if you screw something up, own it.
Yeah, just be like, sorry. Nobody's perfect.
That's another one we see sometimes is like people trying to minimize that cash loss, right? But
remember that time we spent like, what was it, like $18,000 in 5 days? It's something stupid. Like, it was so retarded how much money we ended up spending on Facebook. And then it got billed to the client.
Got messed up.
Yeah. Like, so somebody ended up putting a 0 at the end of like the $180 a day budget, and it ended up being $1,800 a day. And it ran for like 9 days or something crazy, absolutely crazy. And
did the client not realize?
Right?
What's that?
The client didn't realize that there was like 10 times the amount of leads coming in that there was before.
No, they're probably using some American Express fucking platinum card that nobody realized in 9 days. But I ended up seeing it, and I'm like, so I remember messaging the team, and I'm like, who raised the budget to $1,800? And they're like, oh fuck. It's like 3 o'clock in the morning, right? Fortunately, Facebook refunded most of that.
Oh wow, nice.
Yeah, which was nice. So
they give you 1 refund per
one refund.
So if you do that, go create a new ad account in case it ever happens again.
I was locked out of my Facebook account. We were spending $8,000 a day. I was locked out for 7 days before I had to report my own ad account. Or no, before I had to call my credit card and cancel it. And that 7 days that we were spending like $5,000 to $6,000 a day, I spent almost $40,000.
Because you were locked out, you couldn't do anything, right?
They wouldn't let me log back in. I was literally locked out, and it was like a technical error. And they never refunded me any of my money from that.
That's crazy.
Anyway,
absolutely nuts.
I don't want to talk about them.
No problem. We'll move on. Ravi, so much information. So great to have you on the show here. We got about we're gonna stop this here at about 9:30. So we got about 6 minutes left, guys. If you're watching, I hope. What's that? 9:30, 9:30. Well, Ravi's got to go to the gym.
Man. I have to, guys. I've been sitting in this chair for like 12 hours.
Who else has seen Ravi's workout videos?
Stop it. You guys
come on. Who else?
You guys are embarrassing.
And if you go watch those, then you're going to get retargeted with all the money videos.
That is true. Yeah. That is true.
Which are awesome, Ravi. I got to give you props though, man, for just doing it. You know, doing what everybody says you should be doing. Right, which is exactly what you've done. Right, is you've gone from nothing to, 7-8 figures, running multiple businesses, and getting out there and just putting yourself out there. Right, like really removing yourself from the fear of like like even me. Right, I still like I watch your videos. And I'm like, like I wish I could do this. Right? And
you're in Canada and I'm in Michigan, and they won't let us get together to shoot video.
Has anybody seen Ravi's video where he's got the money machine and the hand that's feeding the money machine? That thing is epic, dude.
Oh my God, dude. You should have seen our house that night. It was a full-blown production. Like, I got all my roommates. I was like, I was like, what do we have here? At first so it was $200,000. So first I had to go pull $200,000 cash out of the bank account. And that was like, we were planning on doing it one night.
Money?
Oh, that was real money. Yeah.
Dude, what do you do? Well, just go to Amazon, buy fake money. What do you
Well, I need to be authentic. And I went.
You can tell on video.
Chase would not let me pull it out. Chase wouldn't let me pull it out. I had to literally go through like a 2-week process. And then they had to have a armed security guard walk with me when I walked in there to when I walked out to my car. And then I got the money. And
why didn't you film that? That would have been me.
I do have that. I do have that. But they actually told us to turn the cameras off when we were in Chase. They saw us filming. They told us to turn the cameras off. They're like, I'm not going to give you this money until. So anyway, we turned it off. And then I came here and I had it at my house for like 7 days, and we kept on thinking of ideas. And then finally on the 7th day, I was like, all right, guys, I can't just keep on having $200,000 in cash sitting around my house. Like, that's how people get robbed or murdered. So I said, any costumes, anything that we have, we're going to do this ad tonight. And ended up, we had a pig costume. If anybody's seen the ad, there's a pig costume in there. There's a horse costume in there. And then we have a bunch of like us dressed up in proper clothing. And then I bought a money machine from Amazon, and it was a full-blown production. It was probably the best out of
Money
our
machine. I haven't seen this.
Oh
It's
my
it's
gosh.
awesome. You got to check it out.
I'll just show. I won't show the whole thing, but I will pull it up on here.
Show
Because
the, like a good chunk of it, right? Because
it
it's
is
so
pretty
good.
funny,
It's
honestly.
good.
Yeah,
It's really, really good.
we
You
put
talking like a money counting machine?
Yeah,
I
he's
gotta-
got like
I
a
gotta
hand
see.
crawling up the desk, and it's like,
That's Raj's.
you
That's
wanna make
Raj's
money.
hand. That's Raj's hand. Oh my god. Yeah, let me show you this. Here we go. Your videos. Here we go. Here's the third one here. Oh my gosh. I'll pull up the original one. There we go.
I thought you were talking about an ATM or
We
something.
have five versions of this. This one has 8,000 views on this one alone. Here we go. Oh, can you hear this or no? Here, wait. $1,000 a month.
Yeah,
Want to know how to do it in about 90
Barely.
This money counting here.
so good though.
This money, I'm going to show you exactly how. I'm Ravi Abuvala, and at Scaling with Systems, we help our clients make millions of dollars a year online while remaining hilarious.
Love it.
Now, I know what you're already thinking, right? I'll make that kind of money when pigs fly. Well, you're also probably thinking, man, this guy's a fraud. Of course you're thinking that. Man, there is more horse poop on the internet now than if you had one living in your own house. Now, really quickly, I'm going to show you our merchant. Okay, I can't do any more of that. I'm sorry. I was watching Matt's face during that whole thing, and he was just like, what the hell is this the entire time?
That's awesome, man.
Oh, man.
I was.
I gotta say, that's on YouTube, and that does stop a lot of people from clicking the skip ad button. We get our average view through rate on that video is 80%. The average on YouTube is like 7%. It's crazy.
That's
I think
awesome.
I've watched that. I think I've watched that ad 10 times.
I know it's on a bullish retargeting ad. Shane, just buy my stuff, Shane. All right, I'll take you off the hook if you just buy my stuff. Okay.
It's awesome. No, it's really, really good. And again, back to my point, which is, the fact that you really dived into all of this, right? Which is really, really cool. And there's others as well, right? Like that's just one of them. You got the other one where you're driving the Ferrari.
Yeah,
love it, right?
Yeah, the Ferrari one's good too.
It's like, you could, what was it? The camera one.
The camera.
Right?
That's it.
Yeah. Like, here's the reason why I'd rather spend my money on a camera than a Ferrari, which is fucking like, I know I just seen you drive Ferraris and Lamborghinis.
Yeah, awesome. I love it. It's you got to combine utility and capturing people's attention, and money and cars still captures people's attention, right? But that's not what I'm selling. I'm selling people an actual. Just so everyone's watching this is not a get rich quick scheme. I'm not selling that you're going to make $1 million overnight. It's hard work. It's difficult stuff. But if I said on the ad, hey, want to learn how you can make a 7-figure business in about 2 years while getting probably a divorce and like not knowing your kids and working 80 hours a week, swipe up. No one would really click on that. So you got to make it a little sexier.
That's awesome. Man. It's awesome. Great job on everything. I wish that, we're at 9:30 right now. I wish we could get through a ton of these questions here.
I know. You guys make me feel bad, but I'm so tired.
No, it's all good, Ravi. You've given us more than what we expected here. And it's great to have you on the show again. I hope we can get you back on to Whiskey Thursday in another 6 months to a year or so, and we can look back at some of
each
your
one.
episodes.
We'll figure out how we can actually play them, and then we'll do maybe a montage. We'll put them like the original ones, and then the ones after that, and the ones after that together.
Yeah, that's awesome. Ravi, it's been a blast.
Yeah, dude, thanks so much for having me on here. You guys are awesome. If you guys watched all the way through this, seriously, thank you guys for that. And if you guys have the questions, I know that I'm having to ruin it by going early, but I'll try to come back in here and answer any questions that anybody has.
And guys, if you want,
maybe between sets, you can answer some stuff.
Yeah, there you go.
And for everybody that's wondering where Ravi is hiding, you got to look at his sign there.
Yeah, Scaling with Systems.
Look at that thing.
There you go. Here's a little.
Guys, this is what you need. We need one for the academy.
Yeah, you guys do.
I need one of those necklaces. You tell me where you got that after when we get off.
My Indian grandma.
Afford it.
Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate you guys.
Hey, everybody that's been watching the entire. Listen, if you watch the entire episode, we want to know. Ravi wants to know. I want to know. Especially Matt wants to know. If you've been watching the entire episode, you know what to do. #SuperTrooper. We're really, really grateful to not only have one of the great marketers that
Oh,
a
stop
lot of
it.
us knows. I know. Hey, my God, I'm mad. Yeah.
You mean Ravi?
Oh,
Yeah, we're very excited.
It's really cool, guys. It's really, really cool to be able to be on Whiskey Thursday and talking to a guy that you spoke to, 2 years ago, and have him back on the episode, and he's doing 7 figures, scaling up to 8 figures. It's really, really freaking wild, right? It's awesome. And it's great for I think our audience as well to see this transformation. There's a lot of value in that. And we got a bunch of people here, super trooper, awesome guys. I knew there would be some love for Ravi tonight. I knew it. We've got some people that have been in the REMCM group for a long time.
I love it.
They've been following you, Ravi. So with that, everybody that's been watching, thank you so much for tuning into Whiskey Thursday again. If you're watching from YouTube, make sure to come into the Facebook group. Find us in the Real Estate Marketing Conversion Mastery Facebook group. We are here live on Whiskey Thursday every single week at 8 o'clock. I think we're one of the only people that actually have done this for so long.
That is true. Another statement to the 2 years is that they're still doing this 2 years later, which is impressive as hell. Which is impressive.
Whoops, there goes my camera again.
Oh.
But which is crazy. But with that, next week, who do we got? We got somebody.
Jason Wardrop.
Jason Wardrop.
Oh,
ooh, big
That'll be a
marketer.
good one too.
Big marketer.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Really exciting episode. So make sure to tune into that next week. Ravi, stick around. Everybody else, thank you so much for tuning in. Matt, it was a pleasure as usual. I love your t-shirt. Yeah.